cold, crisp and beautiful good morning to you. My name is Mark and Daniel is on camera today. Welcome to Wilder Safari here at Djuma Game Reserve. We're about to head out for our morning safari on a really lovely winter's morning. It's not cold enough to produce steam from my breath, but there's a bite to the air, and of course once we're driving that sort of drops the chill, makes the chill factor a bit colder. But it's a lovely morning. It's still, as opposed to that very windy morning we had yesterday, and that's really good news because I think the animals prefer it very still. But it's been quiet. I was up a couple of times during the night, and it was a very, very quiet night last night. I don't know, maybe some of you might have heard something from Djuma Waterhole Camp, and it'd be interesting to hear from you whether you heard anything through the camera last night or through the microphone. There were some guinea fowls shouting at the dam a little bit earlier. Might be worth investigating if they persist. And other than that, I'm trying to decide where we should go. I haven't really decided yet. Geese shouting at the dam. Maybe the dam's a good idea. The geese are shouting too. I think let's try that. We'll go down to the dam and maybe do Twin Dams Road or something. And I noticed yesterday that Tara was counting birds. Nearly got my letters mixed up, my words mixed up. And I think maybe we should put in a little bit of sort of friendly competition here. And I know Tara wasn't concentrating on the birds that much that we can turn it into a bit of a competition, but let's see what we can do. We're going to go into maybe some quiet times as far as some of the animals are concerned, or rather if we do. We've had some very, very lucky days. We've had a lot of leopard and lion lately, and I'm hoping that trend continues. And we've also got a lot of elephant around. I'm hoping that continues. But I think we've got to try and find some sort of sidetrack, and let's see, maybe not so much a competition between Tara and myself, a competition to see how many birds we can actually stop and identify between both morning and PM safari for a day's two drives rather. So let's try and do that as well. We'll start counting birds, but we can't just look at birds and say, okay, well that's such and such. What we need to do is we need to stop, we need to get it on camera, and we need a positive identification from you, the viewers out there. So I think let's try and do something like that today, and then tomorrow Tara can see if she can better that. And I think in that way we might be seeing the same birds over and over, but then of course what that does is it helps you learn the birds. And then next week we can do trees. No, I'm only kidding, we won't do trees. So let's go find some things. Animals and birds and trees. Just need to warm up a little bit. My python scarf. Who was it? I think it was Rich that said it looked like a python. Beetles. What else but? Lots of beetles. It's a beetle scarf. Paula was here, she'd be wearing a matching scarf. Right. Glove up. Ready. Steady. Let's go and play. Our wildebeest is here. Funny, I'm driving 2 meters and we see a wildebeest already. Didn't see him when I was standing there. And the poor chap seems to have lost his ladies again. The last time all his females and the youngsters came back, the same day, we had some lion come back, and that split up the group, and then there was only half of the group here.
I think it's Andrew that was driving last night.
Andrew, come in. Andrew's not answering. So, this poor gentleman's going to have to stick around and wait until things calm down for the females to come back again. I'm guessing it should be around about mating time. We should have at least been mating by now. Be interesting to see how many of those calves survive. Last time I saw there were 4 calves that were left out of the 7. I think there were 7. I think we had. Good morning, Andrew. I don't think anything. I'm on quarantine. Are you going to maybe check Gary Dam?
I'm on Gajera access now, heading west.
Okay, copied. I'll check the dam.
Okay, copy, thank you.
Well, let's leave this lonely soul for now. Wildebeest need these open areas like this, and a wildebeest bull such as him, such as he, will establish his territory here. He will have a midden, or he'll have several middens. Hello bird, this is our first bird for the morning. Trying to get into the termite mound. There is some fresh working on this termite mound, and I guess that's where the hornbills are trying to get in. Oops, I nearly gave it away.
I'm on Gajera access, heading west, and Marc is going to check Karula. Okay, cool, thanks. I'm gonna check my dam. There's a couple of calls on my father's car that coming from entering our driveway.
It's nice to see the sun starting to get a little bit earlier. Soon it's going to be rising as we open up. So let's leave this bird. We'll wait for somebody to send in. And about to get a sunrise, so we need to find a nice spot to see that. Hyenas were running here. Maybe that's why the wildebeest have vacated. Maybe they were being chased by hyena last night. So within his territory, he's going to have a couple of little dust bowls where he rolls, and where he has a midden, or a latrine as it were. Well, it's more a midden. He deposits his dung, and here is one of the trees he uses. You can see how the bark has been rubbed quite smooth here. This is his horns rubbing here. And there'll be several of these, his territory that he uses to rub his horns against. It's a signal for other wildebeest that this piece of land is occupied. There's not much he can do about the females. He's got to wait and hope for the best, that they come through his territory and they find it attractive. Good grazing, good access to water. And I guess at the same time he's got to hope that they're going to stay too. Hippo tracks were here, going across to graze. Oh, and looks like here they are again, coming back to the left. Yep, same hippo, dragging his feet. Let's see what we can do with the sun through that gap. Maybe a bit forward. I guess we're at a bit of a weird angle, although the ground does slope here and it does slope up at the top there. That ridge at the back there is about where Cheetah Cutline is, just this side of that ridge. That's Cheetah Cutline. In fact, that big marula tree on the horizon, to the right of where the sun is about to pop its head out of the sea, we probably can go and see that very same marula tree on Cheetah Cutline. Okay. We're doing time lapse. Sandy, hello Sandy. Petunia Sandy. We just need a bird in the tree in the foreground. A moment of silence for the start of the day. Good morning, sunshine. Sunday morning. Fun day Sunday. That was a bird. See how the impurities in the air distort the shape of the sun. A little bit of smoke and dust. To the right of the screen, those pretty balls on sticks. The dried seed heads of the Leonotus, lion's ear, Leonotus leonurus. As soon as the sun clears the trees, we could say that the day is underway. Wunderschön. That's pretty. I guess we could have, if I'd thought about it, we could have had those Leonotus flowers. No, the trees would have been in the way. So, on we go. In fact, before we go, I'm just going to move the vehicle a little bit, but I can show you another part of this wildebeest's activity to establish and maintain his territory. This is one of his little bowls on the left, where he digs in the sand, scratches, almost like a bull in a bull ring, the way it kicks sand with its front legs. The wildebeest does that too. Also, he'll dig his horns into the sand And that's all his dung there too. Part of his lek, part of his territorial activity. Waiting for females to come through his territory. He doesn't actively go and look for females. They are the ones that wander around looking for a male with good territory and good water. So, hyena were busy last time. So, anyone come back on that bird yet? Number one. And how many birds? It's another question for you. Pinky, Jennifer, Valerie, Holly, Helen, Raisa and Mary Jane. Yellow bull, the hornbill. Thank you, ladies and gents. Ladies. Are those some of the sassy sisters you were saying? Thank you very much. Oh, we missed another bird. Another question. How many was Tara's total yesterday? How many did Tara stop and ID? Oops. Hello, children. Bird number 2. They're all eating these monkey pods. We're going to see a lot of them eating the monkey pods now. This is a bird that eats flowers. They actually have in the springtime, flowers constitute quite a large percentage of their diet. Occasionally leaves, obviously a lot of seed and fruit. A lot of the seed that has fleshy fruit around it, and they take it into their crop. And you find they regurgitate the seed the same way that the insect eaters regurgitate all the exoskeletons of the insects they eat. The same way that an owl regurgitates a pellet that has hair and bone in it. All the undigested material that comes out of a bird and comes out the stomach, through the mouth. Okay, I'm going away now, even if they haven't told me to. About birds. So Sandy was saying that recent discoveries, or recent research has shown that lions are capable of counting. Be interested, Sandy. Sandy wants my comment on it. Wants me to tell you more. Well, I'm not surprised. I have to be honest. I don't know much about the research into that. Excuse me. But I'm pretty sure animals can count. I mean, we don't have a monopoly on some of the things that we think that are uniquely human. Old leopard tracks. Very old. Holly, Binky, Michael and Diane. Thank you very much for the grey go-away bird. Roger and Shirley said 20, but there was at least, they were number 23 or so when I was on drive, when I was directing, so I think it was a bit more than 20. I heard the woodpecker now. Normally in birding circles, if you can positively identify a bird call, that counts. As long as you can have two people, at least 2 people, 3 people that can verify it. I suppose Aramark feathers off there, but no, we're going to stick to visual confirmation. It's a matter of actually getting them on camera. I think that's the most important part, is actually getting birds on camera. Pardon? No pressure, no. Well, it's between you and Becky too. Yeah. Lynn, I agree with you, Lynn. We should have a. That's part of what I wanted to do with this. And that's why I want it on camera, so that we can not only have a list. List is Lynn suggesting that we have a life list of the birds here at Juma, and it's an ongoing thing, and we continually add to the list. I think that's more or less what I was trying to get at. But it's important that we have somebody that it's on screen, that you get to see it. So the bird that I see, that as we turn the camera towards it, it flies away, and all we see is a bird flying away. We can't get that one to count. We've got to make up our own rules as far as positive ID is concerned, rather than strict birding rules. Ooh, I found something nice. Look who's in the road, and there are a few more of them on the left. What are these animals called again? Impala? No. Zebra? No, those are the black and white ones. Impala gigantea. Yeah, could be. Yeah, the geese. Just frightened the I nearly said it. The giraffe. Hello, children. See this one on our left with the sun rising. There's another big female up here. That was a male that was in the road, I think. Hello, little one. Thank you, Vivian and Raisa, also for the grey go-away bird. So the geese were in this tree. And not the first time either they were in this jackalberry. We're hiding. They're looking up towards the dam. And the geese weren't in the dam, they were here. So maybe there's something around the dam. Let's go and have a look. As the geese flew, they startled this giraffe here. That's a big lady. It's an old lady. Morning, madam. Sun in your eye. I see some waterbuck moving in the distance. They don't seem to be too concerned about anything. Yeah, got a big bolus of food in their mouth. You can actually see her swallow it. You see it go down the neck. If we could see the neck. We can move up towards the dam and then come back this way, and they might have moved back. She might have come out again into the open. So Sandy, I'd be interested to know about that study, because I'd like to know what it was or how it was that they determined that lions can count. Now, I'm not surprised, I have to be honest. There's no reason why why animals shouldn't be able to count at least a little bit. I mean, I don't expect them to be counting to 3,756. I know that's just an arbitrary number, but you know what I mean. Oh, there's a waterbuck youngster running around, probably just getting a bit warm, getting those muscles moving. But you know, an animal that has cubs or youngsters and multiple youngsters, you've got to imagine that that animal's got to be able to count them or have some concept of numbers. Especially animals that live in a social group like a pride of lion, they must have some concept of numbers too. Now, we'll come to the dam in a minute. We're just going to talk to the waterbuck morning. They're moving off already. And I see another bird up ahead. In fact, there are two birds being chased. One being chased by another. Look at those two birds quickly. The lodge has changed colour. Oops, sorry. That's what happens when you don't put the handbrake on. Such a lovely liquid call. Certainly got a lot to say this morning. Now I just need to go up ahead a little bit, because the birds that were chasing them, there were two birds chasing them, one of which flew into this marula tree, and I think they've got a nest there. I think that's just flying away from the nest now. Okay, in the road, we're gonna 1, 2, 4, 6 of these birds. Rex used to say, if you see two of them in the road, it's lucky. Except they live in pairs and they are on the road in the morning because that's how they're getting seed. They're finding the seed on the open sand. And especially in the early morning light, it's easier for them to see the seed. So that's the second one. Now we just need to see if we can find this third. There was another bird with them, but that one flew away. Work harder, work harder. That's what they say. They're not singing now because they're working hard at getting seed. Sorry, children. Now, in this marula tree, I thought maybe there'd be a hole up there, because that's where this other bird was. And there is a hole up there. Maybe it's flying away, it's not letting us see it. But up just below that fork, there's a hole. And I got a funny feeling that's where they're nesting, the lilac-breasted rollers. Because there were two rollers that were chasing those other birds that were screaming, that I'm still waiting for a name of. And the one roller came straight to this hole, and I'm guessing that's where they're nesting, sleeping. Personally, if I was a roller, I'd choose a north-facing pole, you know. Cool temperatures in winter, you'd think that they'd go for a north-facing apartment rather than south-facing. especially since the wind comes from the south. But I guess, you know, when you don't make your own holes in trees, you just got to go with what you can get. So waterbuck moved off into the thicker bush for the day, perhaps anticipating quite a warm day today. That would be nice. Tired of cold already. Thank you, Raisa, for the magpie shrike. Thanks, Kev, but no, not mouse birds. They're sort of greyish. Oh yeah, those were magpie shrikes. Used to be called long-tailed shrikes. Holly and Jennifer said pin-tailed wider. Those are tiny little birds. Similar, I guess, in that maybe you can't really gauge size, but the pin-tailed wider is a tiny little bird with a tiny finch-like beak. And those had a very distinctive shrike-shaped beak. Here's our polyandrous wader type bird. I see one of his chicks. When I say chicks, I don't mean girlfriends. One of his youngsters. Don't know if it's used in other parts of the world, but I guess a colloquialism, slang nickname for a girlfriend is a chick. Chick flick. Romantic comedies, chick flick. But no, I'm not using chick in that sense. I'm using chick as in youngster. It's just gone around the corner. This is the adult, and can only be a male because the male is the one that looks after the chicks. Thank you, Penny and Raisa. We're turtle dove. Oh. Thanks, Gail, for long-tailed shrike. Lennon and Binky both got Cape Turtle Dove and long-tailed shrike, or magpie shrike rather. There's even another. Raisa, thanks for the African jacana, and there's another bird beyond the African jacana. Excuse me. Thanks, Binky. Also jacana. Lily Trotter is its other name. That's one that Tara had yesterday, I know. See if those giraffe are more visible now. I wonder, do you want to see the new color of the lodge? Let me show you the new color of the lodge. I think it looks quite nice actually. there goes that one. Vuyatela Lodge here at Djuma Game Reserve. A little bit quiet because everyone's out on drive and they're going to probably be getting tables ready for breakfast soon. Maybe it's my imagination that it's a new colour. It looked kind of greenish. From a distance. Maybe it was just the light. I think it's a new colour. I don't know, from it did look like it was like a off teal green. Maybe it's the cold getting to my retina and just changes how I'm imagining things. Oh well. Oh, there's a greenback heron. I said its name because I don't know if we're going to get it on camera. It doesn't count. Maybe I better just change the rules quickly. Maybe it should count. This is the tree that we were supposed to put the camera on. We had already put the light on until the storm took it out. Beautiful tree. This is Djuma Waterhole. Actually, that was the only water when I first arrived here. That was the only water. Just one or two. Laura. Laura, Finland, Penny and Gale, African Jacana. Okay, we got that one. Oh, whoops, we were going to do giraffe. Who was after the Jacana? Now there's the road. Thank you, Binky and Raisa, Blacksmith Lapwings. Lynn says Blacksmith Plover, which is also correct with my books. Plover, Lapwing, and the same birds. Giraffe moved up. Jennifer says maybe it's gone moldy. No, Jennifer. I was actually going to make a joke about moss. Hello, Diane. The lesser jacana, is that the female of the jacana we just saw? No, actually, that's a much rarer species of jacana, Diane. How are you, Diane and family in New Zealand, who I think are probably missing South Africa a little bit. and maybe being with us on safari helps them cope with missing South Africa a little bit. Nice to hear from you, Diane. The lesser jacana, I don't think we'd get the... Well, we might. Let's have a look at what the distribution is. Or Penny will probably come through quicker than I can get my book out. But lesser jacana is a much rarer type of jacana. There are only two jacanas that we get here, the African jacana and the lesser jacana. What we're looking at now is the giant wingless giraffe bird. Related to the Pegasus. Excuse me, I'm just going to go and fetch something for you. And no, these are not in lieu of flowers for the ladies. Get them in the sun. Any guesses? Hello, giraffe. Watching me walk around.
Can we see the... Hold them still for a second.
Okay, yeah, me, I can never hold things still. So we'll put that one there. And we'll put that one there. Then
Directly in
I just heard a baboon at the lodge, but not an alarm call.
Okay. Let's get out of the way of my own shot.
Pardon?
Creating a shadow every time I try and look at the screen.
We're going to move them.
That's good.
Now, if I can try and maneuver this one somehow to show you the top of this foam casing, they're almost like leaves, like the pages of a book. If I can try and manipulate, this is where the babies come out of. This one is old. This one I think has still got eggs in it. This one's an older one. This one's been chewed at a little bit, probably a bird pecking at the top of it. But anyways, I'll keep them both, and I'll put them in my room, and we'll see what happens in September.
Egg sacs.
They are egg cases, yes, of the feline of the insect world. What I consider the cat of the insect world, because of the way they move and hunt and clean themselves. They'll take their front leg and they'll clean it in their mouth, and then they'll wipe their head and their feelers and their eyes, just like a cat. Well, morning. Biggest and smallest eggs in the area. Which bird? Biggest egg, obviously, would be the ostrich. And I think we could consider the ostrich a member. Oh, sorry, madam. I was hoping you would stay there. Stop. 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 Yeah, every time she wants to come out of the bush. It wasn't the geese that chased. She hasn't gone far. I mean, here's the jackleberry. She hasn't gone very far at all. But now she's gone deeper in. Okay, well, we can always come around later and see if these giraffe are moving around a bit. Biggest egg giraffe bird. I mean, ostrich. Well, smallest egg would probably be a toss-up between one of the sunbirds, like the little lesser double-collared, or even, let's see, what's the smallest sunbird? Maybe the white-bellied sunbird, or maybe the blue waxbill and the firefinches. A good question. I'd have to go through my Robert's bird book, and I think the egg sizes are listed in the Robert's bird book. So our sunbirds are similar to hummingbirds. They're not related to hummingbirds, but they are similar and they feed on nectar. But our sunbirds don't hover the way hummingbirds do. Oh gosh, it's cold down this road. Because we're in the lowest lying area here, along the dry riverbed. Plus, I guess there's a lot of moisture there. Makes it so much colder. So the sunbird is probably one of our smallest birds, but then we also have little birds like some of the finches, the blue waxbill and the red-billed and Jamison's firefinches, blue-billed firefinch. And then some of the cisticulars are also very small birds. Then there's also the long-billed crumbic, which is a very small bird, and the chin-spot batises. So there are a number of really small birds, and I mean those eggs, the difference in sizes there are sort of like micromillimeters. So I don't know which one of theirs is the smallest. But it would be interesting to find out. So thanks for the question, Will. Ooh. Raptor. Man, this is gonna be a hard one to ID. Look this way, please. It actually could be quite easy because there's a distinctive feature of this little raptor that is unique. Apart from that grey barring on the breast, if you can see that, if your picture is clear enough. But when it looks this way, you'll see from the tip of the beak, the lower mandible, there's a black stripe coming down the throat. And none of the other little accipiters or little raptors this size have that. That is a unique feature. This bird is probably about maybe 8 inches tall. Oh, excuse me. I lost you at egg cases, Craig. Thank you, Binky. Praying mantis egg cases. Yes, indeed. Pretty large one at that. And Lynn also. Hello, Heather. Are there hummingbirds in Africa? No, there aren't. Hi, Heather. Nice to hear from you, Heather, in Alaska. When are you going to Seattle? I must keep track of you there. And yes, I did get... I must still answer you. I did get that thing you sent. Sydney the kidney. We're all going to be pulling for Heather soon when she goes to Seattle and praying. Hello Kev, in Wales. Do you ever see long-tailed widows? Not in this part of the world. I think I know which bird you're talking about, Kev. I grew up knowing it as the sakabula bird. I don't know where that came from. It might be Zulu. Sakabula bird. They have such long tails in the mating season that they, the males, but it's quite a mission for them to fly. But no, that's more up in the high veld. Dawn wants to know if they leave, I'm assuming the lodge, leave the dead trees lying there for use by other animals. To a large extent. Unfortunately, a lot of the wood is burnt because, well, to make fires, aesthetic fires for the lodge. And it's just something that goes with being in the bushes, having a campfire type of thing. A lot of the dead wood has to stay here because the only way to return nutrients into the soil, let me just pause as we go through this dip. Talk to you again out on the Chelapan side. But it is important, Dawn, for a lot of these trees to stay on the ground when they die, because it's only through these dead trees being on the ground that new new growth is able to occur. Apart from the fact that the decomposition process puts nutrients back into the soil that the tree has taken out in all the years that the tree has taken to grow, as well as being food for so many different insects, especially the termites. Termites are important, as well as being shelter for so many creatures. Dead wood is a shelter for many, many things. I'll see if I can find you a nice example. In fact, here's a perfect example. Here, there's a dead tree lying on the ground. Now, out of that, where that dead tree was, a lot of it is missing, but you can see there is a line of, there's a baby leadwood, there's a spike thorn, there's a baby Jackalberry, and there's about 3 or 4 different species, and a little line with long grasses. Now that would have been where a lot of the branches were decomposing, and when those branches, especially these thorn trees, when the elephants push things over and the thorn trees lie on the ground, they provide excellent cover for new saplings, for new trees and grasses to grow. Oh, there was a raptor, bigger raptor in that tree, and I was just reaching for my binoculars and it flew away. And the go-away birds are shouting at it now. Oh, I missed it. And I didn't even see where it went. Go up to Weaver's Nest. No, we'll stay at Twin Dams. We'll go up to Weaver's Nest after Twin Dams Road. All the way down to Twin Dams, it's a good idea. Some white-tailed mongoose tracks here, heading south. Deborah wants to know how many miles we cover on a safari. There's no real idea, Deborah. I mean, sometimes it can be 2 or 3, and maybe sometimes it can be 5 or 6. It largely depends on how many animals we see. 'Cause sometimes I've done a 3-hour drive where I virtually haven't left the open area that is called quarantine, where I've been within 100 meters of that. And I think barely covered a whole mile in a safari. So it depends on what we see and how long we spend with it. Obviously, at the times when we're not seeing very much, we can cover a lot of ground. Penny, Laura and Lynn, thank you very much for the lizard buzzard. That's what it was. It was a lizard buzzard. I just want to have a look down here in the riverbed. Raisha. And Nancy and Ellen. With the lizard buzzard. No. Let's go back up to Twin Dams Road. I just heard Franklin making a bit of a noise down, so I thought we'd pop in, but I'm going to stick to my plan of going down to Twin Dams and then coming around on Weaver's Nest, and we can eventually make our way back to Chelapan and back down here, but I want to stick to the plan of Twin Dams. Okay. questions to get through. Four. That's in Sandy, thank you. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Sandy getting back to me about the study about counting lions. This was a documentary. Jonathan Scott must have been up in Serengeti or Masai Mara, probably in the Mara. I know Jonathan mostly works out of the Mara, more than in Tanzania, Serengeti. But what Jonathan did, what they were doing, is they had a pride of lion, and they had the recordings of many different lions. And they noticed that if they played the recordings of lion where there were where the number of the lions numbered 2 more than the pride, then the pride wouldn't advance. If the number of other roaring lions that they played to these lions equal or were less in number than the resident lions, then the lion would advance. I guess you could determine, or rather you could come to a conclusion that lions count from that. But you've got to take into account that the lion are also going to recognize voices, and it's also a matter of distinguishing different voices. I suppose there's got to be some concept of how many that is involved. And I want to sneeze again. Oh, I can't. Look at the sun. Not working. Okay. But that was a very interesting thing. Thanks for that, Sandy. I'll look for that. Who knows? Maybe I can find something on the web. Excuse me, I've got to blow my nose again. I'll do it down here in the dip, because maybe we'll lose signal in the dip. Then you won't hear me blowing my nose. about that. My nose is a little stuffy today. Just the cold weather. For us reptiles, well, we can't wait for summer. Oops. Okay. What's next on the menu? Get that one again in a minute. Twin dams. The birds here too. If I'm not mistaken, there's 3 different birds there. There are, but we got the Cape turtle doves already. We'll just do the big one for now. On the dam wall. I think I hear a helicopter.
This one.
Pardon?
That's like 3 of them.
You know, 3 of that type of bird, but then there was 3 different types of bird. But there's a dove to the right, but we've got the Cape turtle dove already. There's an interesting bird that we've got to catch, and that's that little wader. And those ones are easy. That little wader on the edge of the pan on this side. Yes, that little one. Very distinctive black bands on its neck. The giveaway for that bird. That is its distinctive feature. Okay, so we've had some toot. Now there's another one down there next to the water that we haven't got yet. On the far side. It's just a dove. Yep, that one. A little bit far away, but then makes it a little more difficult. Maybe we'll skip that one. We'll have to find another one, unless somebody gets it. And there, just to the left of it, is another bird we have to get. So 2 in one shot. One on the left, one on the right. The dove at the back. Look at that, we've got 3 different birds in one shot. The Cape turtle dove at the back. But these 2 that are together now, we don't have those 2 yet. and we'll give the birding a break until we get all the answers to that. And we've got a couple of questions I need to get to higher ground so we can get to those. So we'll go up towards Weaver's Nest. So a little bit of alarm calling going on here. Something's around. Oh, there's also a hippo there. You can see that little now behind bushes. I wonder if there's not something walking in the riverbed. I'm going to check on Gary Main to see if anything's there. Good idea. Gary Main, we'll just drive into that riverbed and see if we can find something in the riverbed and come back out onto Twin Dams. Another greenback heron we missed. They were hunting. No, I don't think that's true, Kev. It was a scene depicted in a I don't know, is it an infamous movie or a famous movie? In a movie, I'm just looking. This is buffalo thorns being frozen. Some of its leaves are still okay. Most of its leaves have had temperatures that the buffalo thorn can't, and it's robusta as well, and the thorns. There's been, but I said this already. We've seen along this riverbed that, excuse me, that there's been a very, very cold snap that has come through here, resulting in, look at the spike thorn, these leaves. You don't ever see spike thorn leaves that color, and that's just from really, really cold air. These are trees that don't have an antifreeze in their leaves. They don't cope cold temperatures like myself. Somehow there's been a cold wind that must have come through this riverbed. Yeah, the spike thorn on my right. Been a cold wind that has come here. Affected these trees in ways that they've never been affected before. Other than global warming, it's global freezing. Pinky and Raisa, thank you. Number 8. I was going to ask what number are we on. Number 8 is Egyptian goose. Thank you. Binky said 3-banded plover, Nancy said 2-banded plover. But Binky, you're right. They actually, Nancy, they count the white band between the two black bands, I think, as one band, so it means it's a 3-banded plover. Heather also said a 3-banded. Thank you, ladies. Nancy said Cape Glossy. No, that wasn't, but I can forgive you for that, Nancy, because it was so far away you couldn't see eye color. Mike Moss got red-billed hornbill, but Mike, black crake, I know you're not a birder, so I'll forgive you for that one, but no, there wasn't a black crake. Pinky, no, both of them wrong. See, when they're far away, it's a little bit more difficult. Yellow-billed hornbill and Cape Glossy, no? No, it's starting to break up too much now. Ah, there we go. Raisa got all 3. 3-banded plover, Birchall starling, and red-billed hornbill. Thank you, Raisa. You win the prize. Free cup of coffee at Starbucks. Just go into your nearest Starbucks. Tell them Marc at Wild Earth said that you can get a free cup of coffee, and if they have a problem with it, they can bill me. They'll probably say, who? And then you can say, Marc, Wild Earth Safari, don't you know him? And they'll say, no. And then you can say, well, you just don't know what you're missing, do you? Remember we were here and we had kudu. This is this lovely big torchwood. Some of you might remember we were here and there were kudu all moving about trying to find the fruit. Well, they missed one. That's a nice one. That's the fruit of the torchwood, aka Balanites, aka greenthorn, also known as, it's not a helicopter, it's a Lister diesel pump that I'm hearing. Every now and again the wind changes. Well, not the wind, just the breeze, the direction. There are, if you can see, there are lines. There's a line there, and there, and there, and then that's how this dehisces. That's how this fruit splits open. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that without putting the knife into my hand. No, it's not ripe yet. But there's not much in here as far as fruit is concerned. A little bit. I think it's actually quite ripe. But
Edible for humans.
it is. It's not very palatable. It is edible. And this one's very old because as you can see the color of it. Color is supposed to be a little bit paler than that. But it's very woody. The actual kernel part of it is very, very woody. So there's not very much fruit on the seed and on the plant, or rather on this fruit. There's not very much flesh on the fruit, I should say. That's about it. It's quite sticky.
Date.
It's, yeah, there you go. Very much like a date. Very similar to a date. Doesn't smell so great because this is probably, I thought it might not be ripe, but it is actually. It's overripe. You want to smell it? No, not you, them. Sniff very hard.
Me too.
Yeah, you can sniff it. I was going to say to the viewers. If you sniff very hard, maybe you can smell it.
Can I try some?
No, not that one. I wouldn't try that one.
Okay.
Now, this time of the year, I must actually look for a civet midden. I haven't found a civet midden or a civet latrine for quite a while now. And there was one on Battalier Road, and we need to go and look at that one up there, because a civet midden will be full of these seeds now, or the remains of the Balanites fruits. Torchwood. A very important tree actually, because it's quite drought resistant and it provides good fodder, it provides good browse in times of drought. Yeah. Penny, where did you go? Yes, indeed. Penny. Three-banded plover, Birdsall starling and yellow-billed hornbill. No, it was a red-billed hornbill. Oh, lots of birds here. Oh no, I can't hear that. It's a mixed bird party here. Probably we can get 10 species at least if they would just sit still. Oh man, there's just so many. All the finches are here. Ones I was talking about that lay little eggs. If we could only get one of them, because they just... The only way to see these birds is have a bird bath, because then they come and drink and bath, bathe, get to see them better. But this whole bird party is dispersed. But there were firefinches and waxbills and there's so many different things. On that bush. On that bush. That raisin bush. Yeah, a lot of them are in this raisin bush. Let's see if we can catch one or two of them. There we go. There's a little blue bird. But it's not called a bluebird. I'm just saying it's a bird that is blue that I want the name of. It's easy. And they're normally in the company of a little red bird, one that's just flown away. And yeah, another one that's just flown away. The red ones are gone. The blue ones are still there. Okay. Onward ho. At least we got one of this mixed bird party. Even if there were about another 10 species we missed. Also, we got to give the birds a break now, because we've got questions to answer. I'll wait for an ID on that little one. Okay.
You are looking for the equipment. I'll come in.
Henry, come in. Yeah. Nancy meant 3-banded plover. Here leopard tracks now. I just want to check in with Henry. Henry? Hi Henry, how are you? Has there been any update for Western Gowrie?
Not that I know, but I know they calling on the contact today. Yeah, I spoke well with the people that he's on that with contact. I know what it's done.
Do you know whereabout he is?
Last time I heard he was on Twin Dam. Not too sure now. He's got a contact south somewhere.
Okay, copy. Henry?
Stand by.
Where are you in for? Okay, where did you leave that Mkonzo for that Ingwe?
Only losing Gowrie side. Bamba, not a bit, and before that guy, the Bamba is.
Yeah, I just picked up Mkonzo on firebreak from Weaver's Nest going down to Twin Dam.
It could be it, maybe, yeah, for sure.
I've just been at Twin Dams, there's nothing there though. Okay, let me just have a look for some leopard tracks here. There's a leopard. Been picked up on Western Gowrie, other than the leopard tracks. It came across Little Gowrie, went north a little bit and then turned east. So the tracks that I've just seen on firebreak must be the same leopard. There was nothing on Twin Dams Road. There was nothing in the riverbed. There were francolins shouting. Ah, there we go. Just crossed over here, and it couldn't have been too long ago either. I just found this Ingwe Nkonzo crossing back south, halfway between Weaver's Nest and Twin. Maybe there's still a leopard around there somewhere. Oh, Steenbuck just got a fright. From something, maybe us. Okay, so where were we? Always distracted by tracks and things. And these tracks look like about the size of one of the boys. Excuse me. The Steenbuck has disappeared. getting anything. Sorry, no radio. Almost as I'm expecting him to come out of the bushes just south of us now at any moment. I could wait here 5 years for a leopard to come out of the bushes down there. But his general direction was east. And this leopard knows about these pans. It would be the most logical thing for a leopard to come out onto these pans, baboon pan. Unless he's been here already. Well. Let's continue, get back into radio signal area and continue. Questions and things. No, we miss a leopard one day, we catch a leopard another day. Station near Baboon Pan. Bounce, that blew my ear out. Oh, sorry, not copying too well. Who's this? I'm not copying it at all. But if you're copying me, we've got Ingwe Konzo crossing from Western Gari. South is west of Baboon Pan. Dextromethylfan. Suppress the little tickle in the throat. I heard something of a question about Chelapan earlier. We need to revisit that question, amongst others. Buffalo have been busy here. Could this be Seesaw? No, I don't think so. He is an old man, that's for sure. Couple more buff in the background. He's an old man. A similar sort of horn shape to a buffalo we used to call Seesaw. Oh, got to get that bird quickly. Buffalo's not top of the dead tree. Unless there was that acacia in the way. Acacia's in the way. Just let me go back. Roll. Yeah. There we go. Now we're going to look at how far the red goes. Look at the black eye line through the eye. And look at the black throat mark. Okay. What the type of bird is pretty obvious by its behavior right now, and the red head. Okay, well, he gave us a good show. Should have been long enough to see who it was.
How old do you reckon he is?
Old. Daniel's asking how old I think he is, and I can just say he's old. 20-something.
Yeah. There's the eyes, right?
No,
Looking over
his face is bald. Yes. Thank you, Lynn, Nancy, and Raisa, for the blue wax bill, that little blue bird we had, the little blue finch type bird that we had earlier. Blue wax bill indeed it was. Chagra, no, I haven't seen a chagra yet, Pinky. Thank you, Laura, in Finland, with the blue wax bill. And thanks, Kev and Mike, with bearded woodpecker. Yes, indeed. A giveaway was that black beard stripe and the black line through the eye and the red crest. Bearded woodpecker. I'm surprised there isn't a bird on this buffalo. That isn't called a buffalo bird. But he's an old man. I wonder, can anyone tell me if you think this is seesaw? It's like that cough mixture makes my cough worse for a bit and then it gets better. Let's continue a little bit. Hello, man. And his right eye, yeah. Get really, oops. Need to disconnect. Oh wow. I just bumped the horn. Ah, this thing keeps changing its brightness, I don't know, on its own. I think he's blind in his right eye. I think it's a miracle he's still around after all the lion we've had come through here. But sorry, old man. Didn't mean to disturb you. A couple of more old Duggar boys, old buffalo bulls, spread out in the bush here. Just for a difference in the curvature of the horns. And another bird sunning itself on my right on the termite mound. Oh, yes, there we go, in the open. Well, jumped to the back branch now, but it's fairly open. This is a bird we're seeing a lot more of lately as they sun themselves in the morning. And in the summer months they're very well hidden because they tend to skulk through the thick vegetation. Thank you, Binky and Gail, and who was it? Lynn. Laura, sorry, in Finland. The woodpecker. But you weren't specific. But we already had bearded woodpecker. But thank you for that. Lynn, Madeleine, and Laura with Birchall's Kukul. Thank you. To add another to the list. Damn wall's getting a little bit thin again. You see how the tails, I was raising the tails on his hair. Hide and seek with the squirrel. Okay, squirrel. Thank you, squirrel. Back instead of the white back. That's got nothing to do with sex though, that's just a variety thing. Sorry, spider. Beautiful, adult, red face, nice following. Let me just move out of the way of this car. Hello, Jim Reeve. Update on Karula Mampipa? Okay, copy. Okay, thanks. I'm on quarantine, I'll be there now, if I can join you. So there are two birds we're waiting for answers to. There was one that was difficult, sitting above those impala rams, where there was that one big ram with a broken horn, and the two small rams that were grooming each other. And then that fantastic eagle that was flying, a rocking flight, very, very short tail, very distinct coloration. One of the few eagles that does have a number of different colors in it. And I'm waiting for a total of what our bird list is for the morning so far. Because I don't know if we're going to be doing any more birds, because we're going to see And you're back. Have to change batteries quickly. So I was saying, I don't know if we're going to be doing any more birding this morning on account of going to so much watch. You're welcome. Pinky Penny Lynn. Bring back with the Bachelor. Thank you very much for that. Missing one. Colin, Heather and Laura. Also Shimungwe, Bachelor. Yes, we're going to visit with some children now. And maybe there'll be a bird or two around them, but I think we'll concentrate more on them. Elephant tracks backwards and forwards across the road. Seems she's leaving the youngsters here a couple of times now that she's left them in this block north of Wetela Access Road, Aubrey's Road. White-backed buzzard. No such thing. Might be coming back out onto the road. They were on top of it. I see one of them ahead of us. But so is Henry ahead of us. What? No, it's not. The cubs are there. I'm thinking maybe they'll come out onto the road. Oh, wow. Let me just get a shot through here on a tree stump. Welcome to Wild Earth Safari. Finally we get to see a few spots this morning. Hello little one. Hello. Come to me. Come to me. Two little beige lightning marks, just like Induna had when it was that age. Well, we're going to get a windy day again today. Look at this. Wind's picking up quite heavily now. Wind's picking up quite heavily now. Oh, we'll see if we can get another view of them. We're heading up towards Aubrey's Road. Coming towards us now. Come and talk to me, little one. Come on. Come on. Come to me. Both of them are here, just in case you're wondering. Going to move forward. Have a game. Always remind me of Calvin and Hobbes when I see them play like that. Coming back this way. I'm sure it's a huge relief for everybody to see these two together. There was a little while when getting quite a few people were getting worried. Oops, I've got to cut those wires for that thing. And it wasn't my elbow, it was my wrist this time. Trying to shield the monitor from the sun so that I can see what's going on. And pressing the hooter, the horn. We call it a hooter in this country. I know hooters have different meaning in other parts of the world. But so do horns. Or should I say, warning device, as a traffic officer once told a traffic policeman. Failure to have an adequate warning device, 200 Rand fine. We want to get a little bit, going up a tree, we want to get a little bit better than this. Welcome back.
Thanks, man.
Afshed. Go on, Morning. Close shave. Wee pets. Are they close to the road? Is Karula close by? They're very close to the road, Wee pet. We are on the road, right next to me. Karula was, her tracks were seen going down towards the lodge. She's gone off hunting. It's the time of day she goes off hunting. Here we go. Look at this little child. Relax, children. Meow. Oh, he's growling at me and hissing. Relax, baby. It's only me, little boy. Up a tree. Daddy, your sister, she's up a tree. We can go back. See her up the tree. They're just having a game because Karula's not here and they're waiting for her to come back. They're going to fight each other in the tree now. The tree's going to break, one of the two. The weight of the tree, look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. They are getting big. Hang on, I'm going to try and move a guy. Oh. I'm not going to move at all. Somebody's going to get hurt. Oh, we can't see that. Excuse me. Let me move a little bit. Light's not great, but it's just a fun. It's a fun tree for them because they're such flexible branches. Whoa! Like a flying leap onto its sibling. Just heard an elephant shouting up Zoe's Road somewhere. I was going to do Zoe's Road earlier and then I heard about this lot. These two. These games, especially this kind of a game, I mean, see the way it climbed up this little branch now. It's a very thin branch. It's such amazing balance already at this age, but just honing skills. Look, she's going to jump from that branch onto this one and attack it. They both fall out of the tree. Little boy on the right, little girl on the left. They're gonna both fall. Now you've broken a branch. He's wearing a branch around his head. That's the branch that's just broken off. Hello Maya. Thanks for your question. If I can remember all of it. Maya's just saying, she knows that we've said in the past that the animals are used to the cars, and just saying that they might be used to them, but it doesn't mean that they have to like them. And that I agree with you, Maya. And very often you can tell when they don't like us. In fact, right now, a few minutes ago, when I rounded that little bend and I had the two of them in the grass. Well, I had the one in the grass, I didn't know where the other one was, and the other one ran to its sibling. I couldn't even tell which one was which at that point. And it looked up at me and growled a little bit and hissed. And obviously, I mean, that's a clear body language saying I don't like you. I mean, right now, they're totally ignoring us. If they didn't like us, I mean, there are expressions, and cats are very expressive. And they certainly make it known that they don't like your presence. Ears go flat, tail swishes from side to side, they'll hiss, bare their teeth. And a lot of times, I have to be honest with you, a lot of times in the last 20, 30 years, when I've seen leopard and they don't want to be seen, they just disappear into the bush and you can't find them again. And that's their way of getting away from you. But yes, I'm sure there are times when they dislike us. I mean, you're also saying that there seem to be a lot more vehicles now. I don't think so. I don't think there are any more vehicles than there always have been. If any, there are a couple of vehicles less, because in the past, when Bush Lodge was part of Juma, we would have the Bush Lodge vehicles. We could have 3 Bush Lodge vehicles here, 2 or 3 Bush Lodge vehicles plus the Gallagher vehicle. Nowadays, there's only one. I think only one Bush Lodge, or rather Cheetah Plains vehicle, is allowed here at a time. There are times of late when the landowners have been around, and that accounts for a lot more vehicles. When the landowners come down, they're all business people from the city, and so it tends to be school holidays and long weekends that it gets busier with vehicles, because the landowners come in. And especially like with the cubs like this, they were moving through the grasses, and when we arrived here, we had the 2 vehicles that were with them, were following them through the grasses, and I'm sure under those circumstances they don't like it, and it's just a little disturbing for them. But now we're the only vehicle here. We're sitting quietly. They're totally ignoring us. We're having absolutely no impact on them whatsoever. They're just having a fantastic little game. I just wish we could see it better. It's great to watch, but I know that it's a little difficult because of the light from the sun coming from back to the left of them. So we don't have the best light on them at the moment. But this is the best view we have where we're sitting. And Debbie from Philly, what do I think their weight is? Gosh, difficult to say. Probably about 12, anywhere between 10 and 15 kilograms. 10, 12 kilograms, maybe a little bit more than 10. 12 to 15 kilograms. Got her by the ear. She's growling at him. She's trying and save herself. Well done, little girl. Oh, no. Nearly got a good save there. Like a king of the castle game, this. I think he does seem to be dominating in play a little bit. Well, we're going to sit here for a few more minutes. Annette, does this bring more attention to them with the animals? I don't think so. It's hard to answer that, Annette. It depends on what animals are around. There's clearly nothing around here at the moment. Who knows? Hyena could appear at any moment. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, it depends. If they were playing like this on an open area that had a lot of impala, yes, it would bring more attention to them. There's a wind that is picked up, and there are no birds flying around at all. I haven't seen a bird in the last 15 minutes. There are no birds flying around to be alarming at them. The wind that is picked up is moving the trees maybe a little bit less than the way this tree is moving. So under the circumstances, no. This particular moment, they're not drawing that much attention to themselves by playing, because there's nothing here to be to have its attention drawn. On a kill, do the vehicles draw more attention to them? Maybe in some cases, but then again, every time it's different. Whether there are other animals around or not. Oh, that was a nosedive into the grass. Obviously like this little tree for this particular game they've just invented. Oh, ouch. Yeah, that hurt because he ran. Yeah, that hurt. I can see that hurt. Was it now run off and hidden behind the grasses? Ears went a little bit flat. Okay, seems to be over that little bit of a mishap. But try to take a leap from a very up another tree. Hurt yourself and then just carry on playing like a hooligan again. Let's see, we'll watch them a few more minutes in this other tree. Because it might just be better light. Can't spend too much time here, I'm afraid. So we can get things on charge for the afternoon drive. What possessed it to go upside down like that in the first place? I have no idea. Okay. Lying down in the shade. I'm going to leave them be. Would love to spend all day watching them. And I'm sure all of you would also love to spend as long as possible. We do have to be practical. Around later today. I see some leopard dung in the road there. Pretty dry. Waiting for Mom to make the kill. She might get lucky. She might be successful. We'll come back and fetch them, and then we can follow tracks later today. Bye, kids. No good. No point in saying be good. They're not. Let's just move a little bit away from them and say goodbye to you all. What a wonderful end to a lovely morning. There was one bird that we missed, and that was the purple roller, or Mozambique roller. That was the one that was above the impala. I don't know if that'll count, and I guess I'm going to have to go back and count emails and see how many birds we found this morning, and carry on with that this afternoon. Hopefully this wind is not going to be too bad today. This has been Wild Earth Safari here at Djuma Game Reserve. My name is Mark, and Daniel has been on camera. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been fun. We'll see you later. Bye for now.